Well, it's time to buckle up because this market report is going to be a little bit of a roller coaster ride. And that's happening because the real estate market is giving us all of the entertainment that we need here in Southwest Florida. So let's jump right in. I'm Brad Dohack with Gulf Pointe Properties, and we're going to talk today about some of the interesting stats, the stats that are sort of all over the place and make sense of what it means for you in the real estate market, especially here in Southwest Florida. So every month I put together an entire market report where we're taking all of the data, getting it to make sense for each prospective person in the market. And this really is catered to those in Southwest Florida. Now, as we jump into it, looking at these stats, you're going to think, how is this possible? How can we have that much change in time? Well, a lot changes in a year. There's no question about that. We've had inflation concerns. We've had mortgage rates increase significantly. We've had a hurricane that came through Southwest Florida, and a lot of things change. There is shift that has happened. So let's jump right into it. Now, the data that we're looking at is the year over year for Collier County and Lee County, Florida. And in here, we're going to first look at the closed sales. So as you see here in Collier County, with 344 single-family homes that closed, this is in the month of October, and that's down 27% over last year. Now in Lee County, that was 725 homes that sold, which is down 47%. That is a lot. So we're selling about half as many homes as we did last year. Now, this one is super interesting. So the median price of homes had been falling for approximately 5-6 months, for the past 5 to 6 months of this year. Then we had Hurricane Ian come through in late September, and now we have the October stats. And what's really interesting is that in Collier County, now the median price of a home is $800,000. Now, if you watched my market update last month, that was $725,000. So it is up $75,000, more than 10% in one given month. And then in Lee County, it's also up. So at $425,000 compared to $415,000 last month. Now, respectively, that's up 23% year over year in Collier and 16% up year over year in Lee County. So why? Would you ask? Why is this happening? Why would prices suddenly go up? And the explanation for that is quite simple. It's supply and demand. So we had a storm, a catastrophic storm hit Southwest Florida again at the end of September. And so what happened is a shortage of supply. We had less homes available because some of them were flooded, some of them were damaged, and we had an increase in the demand because anybody who was displaced from their homes needed some place to either rent or buy, and that put some short-term pressure on pricing. So the question becomes, will that pricing maintain, or is it going to come back to where it was back in September and August and the months prior, where things were starting to get some relief? So that is quite interesting, and I don't know that I would have predicted that right before the storm had happened. Now, days on market, this is another big part of the story. So in Collier County, the days on market are 45 days before you can expect a contract when you go on the market listing your home for sale. That's up 165% year over year. Huge numbers there. 29 days on market in Lee County, and that's up 107%. So what this tells us is that if you are a seller, the expectation in 2021 and early part of 2022 was list home for sale, get multiple offers, go above asking price, and that market doesn't really exist anymore. We see the home staying on the market again for an average of at least 29 days in Lee County and even more in Collier County where the price is higher. So that's also a really big deal. Now our new listings, we have 526 new listings in Collier County. That's just down 6%. Nothing big to talk about there. But in Lee County, I find it quite interesting that we have 908 new listings that came came on the market, and that's down 46%. So significantly less homes coming on the market in Lee County than in Collier County. And again, compared to last year. Now our pending inventory, that's 599 in Collier, that's down 42%, and 1,658 in Lee County, and that's down 36%. So pending inventory is down, that means our closings are going to be down, and that trend is going to continue. Now our month supply, we have 3.8 months worth of inventory in Collier County. That's about 192%. Significant. The buyers have been challenged without inventory, and now we have seen that market shift more and more in favor of the buyer, and that is what we are seeing right now. We're seeing reductions in prices. We're seeing sellers giving seller credits, which haven't existed in a long time. We're seeing home builders offer incentives, which has not happened in an extremely long time. So this is all happening because of that inventory situation. And in Lee County, that's at 2.6 months. That's up 117%. 2.6 months is still in favoring sellers a bit, but we consider about 4 months worth of inventory as the equilibrium. And so we are getting to that spot where the market is not favoring either buyer or seller for the first time in a very long time. Now, dollar volume, this is total amount of money that changed hands with real estate in Collier County is $467 million, and that is down only 3%. And Lee County was down it was $385 million, which was down 44% over last year. Less money coming into the market. That's not as good for the overall economy. And again, we had a situation where a lot of homes, Lee County was more affected than Collier County with the storm. So I would expect that we had less transactions that actually closed. And there's also something going on where a lot of the homes that were affected, even if that seller still wants to sell, if they have an open insurance claim, they're not able to sell that property unless the new buyer's not willing to have insurance, because they can't get a new insurance policy with an open claim on the property. And that kind of brings us to the next point of insurance continuing to be a challenge. I know I'm personally fighting with my insurance company over a claim because I lost my lanai cage, and they're not wanting to cover it because they're saying the cost is less than the deductible to replace the cage. That's nonsense. It's not possibly true, but that's what they're stating. And so we're in a battle, and a lot of other people are in that similar battle. But what happens there is if I wanted to sell my property, I can't because I have an open claim. And as long as I have that open claim, that will continue to be an issue. And I think that's going to cause some problems. Now, the good news here is that we've seen a little bit of stability and an improvement in the interest rates. For a while, it was just those things were just going up, acting like they were never going to stop. And so we saw a slight retreat in rates, and now it's been steady for the past couple of weeks, which is very good. And the Fed is sort of talking about how they're not going to be raising the federal funds rate by the pace that they were earlier in the year. And so that's just good things in general. So if you are on the sidelines as a buyer, and let's say that you just did not want to participate in the market that we had earlier in 2022 and in 2021, this is really good news for you all around. And on top of that, we have some other programs that we can give you access to that allow for additional ways to save money on the monthly payment and or a seller contribution towards closing costs that can help with different things as well. So if that's you and you've been sitting on the sidelines, now is a really good time to have another conversation. So feel free to reach out from that perspective. And we are going into our high season. It's the holiday season. After the holidays, we start January, February, March, which is our big season here in Southwest Florida. So it's going to be very interesting. I predict that we're going to see a rise in the inventory because that's what typically happens during the early part of a new year. And we will see what happens as far as properties coming off the market. But again, more and more opportunities looking like the buyers are going to have here in the short term. Thank you so much for watching. Please do me a favor and like the video and subscribe to the channel. That really helps the YouTube algorithm get this out to more people and helps inspire me to make more videos like this for you. Thanks for watching. Talk soon.